Woo! Yeah! What's up, everybody? You're tuning into the first episode of the New Thinkers podcast. Originally, we were supposed to drop in April. However, and unfortunately, we were unable to do so. Some things got tied up. We got a little busy, and yeah. So first, I would like to introduce myself. My name is David. I'm 21. I currently reside in Las Vegas, and I am trying to obtain a biology degree and eventually go to medical school and become the best doctor I can possibly be. And I'm accompanied by my best friend, my wingman, my partner in crime, Mikey. He's 21 years old as well, and he currently resides in Los Angeles. He is on his journey, his lifelong dream to become a director. He is fantastic at screenplays, writing in general, and just being a great filmmaker. The reason why we decided to call this podcast the New Thinkers Podcast, it's not because we're special. Don't get that twisted or anything. We're not special, trust us. But we think as time goes on, ideologies, opinions, they do change. And that's basically it. We're just the product of the new changing environment, the new opinions that are formed, and yeah, it's that simple. We're all about finding your own truth, and from day one, that's really what we've been all about. Just gaining knowledge, gaining wisdom, formulating your own philosophy, not gravitating towards someone else's opinion because it's popular and making it your own. But don't get us wrong, we're funny too. We're not just stone cold philosophers. We're not boring. We still know how to have fun. Just stay tuned. But we are sponsored by Sweetwater. They are an online music store. They sell anything from microphones to software. The manager there is Israel Foster. And let me tell you something about Israel. Israel is somebody who's going to follow up on you constantly through your road of buying anything from, microphones, interfaces, anything. And he's going to make sure you get 100% customer support. And I really appreciate that from him. He's a great guy. And to be honest, everything we're recording on is Sweetwater bought. So right now I'm recording on the blue microphone, the blue, I think it's the Blue Fire or the blue, something like that. The Blue Spark. Sorry about that. The Blue Spark. And I'm recording with the Focusrite interface, which is all Sweetwater bought. And let me tell you something, everything works pristine and perfect, and I've actually had it for some time. So just stay tuned, and thanks for listening. It's just us two. It's like two dudes in a
It's two dudes
dudes in a room, to be honest. We're kind of like the struggled podcast people as of right now until we start coming up. But
we have a mic.
We have one mic right now. We're using one microphone, but hey, it's from Sweetwater. And it's good. So, but we were
love vitamin water too. Shout out.
We're just having fun. But where did we leave off about women?
We left off at our
not women, just relationship in general.
We left off at our true definition of success, and I was explaining to you, I guess, 3 steps in life to achieve success, I guess you could say.
Yeah, honestly, we were talking about we had 3. I think you explained 2 reasons or 2 definitions of success, and I explained 3. But so I explained that my true meaning of success at the moment is finding somebody you love, having children, and giving them the opportunity to do whatever they want, and 3, finding an opportunity to be the best at what I want to be when I grow up. So I want to go to medical school. Obviously, I want to be the best doctor as possible. So, and then you were saying again.
I was pretty much saying how okay, my definition of a successful family would be something like a husband and wife who are able to support each other and support a household together. And that is something in our current day and age that's very, very hard to achieve. But that would be my true definition of success in a family. My true definition of success in my career, I'm still trying to figure out. I am in a stage of my life where I've always had one dream and one goal, and I've always believed that if I strive for that goal, eventually, if I never give up, I will succeed in that goal. And that's the current way I go about things. But I have no idea what my successful career is going to be as of right now.
As we get older, I do feel that our knowledge definitely changes. So what now we think of success may not be what we think is successful in the future. But I think we still have that platform, like I was telling you about earlier, from our parents. Our parents give us our morals, or at least a platform of morals, because they raise us. And I mean, if you agree with that, I do.
Now, what about this? I was raised in a household where I had no, I'm serious. I was
I agree.
in a household where my parents were divorced. Okay, how many people in this world currently have divorced parents? Raise your hands. Of course, a fucking lot of you, right?
So like your dad was saying,
so that makes
raise your hand in this room right now. Let's do an example.
Okay.
Raise your hand if your parents are divorced.
No, I'm raising my hand.
50%.
Okay. Yeah,
my parents are yet to be divorced.
Okay, so 50%. Okay.
50%. Your dad was correct.
It's fucking a lot.
Yeah,
right?
that's a lot. Israel, 40%.
Okay, now that means 50% of people have experienced somewhat of what I've experienced, a household with separate parents, separate support systems.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, my definition of relationships have become so jaded simply because I grew up in a household where from the age of 4 there wasn't a strong relationship present.
And you know what, the thing is, I would assume that too. You know, if you put somebody in a situation where they grow up and there's constant struggle and fighting between their relationships, like even at the lowest level of a household, you know, brother and sister, not like that sounds kind of bad, like the lowest level, but like, you know, not the dominant level at least, then of course they're going to be jaded. They have to be jaded. I mean, they went through a lot. They're scarred as a soul.
No, but this is where I get worried, because I get worried now that a majority of couples are going to become this, you know, divorced pattern family household thing, which it's clearly showing most likely is going to be the case, that there's just continuous breaking up, recycled bullshit that just keeps happening in households and in families and in children who need to get raised properly. But you see, since I was raised that way, I think a lot of people who have experienced this could say that they kind of raised themselves. And okay, so it has goods and it has bad sides. The bad sides are it's very difficult. It left my impression of relationships very jaded. But on the positive side, I raised myself, which in hindsight has made me and very strong and very capable of taking care of myself. Mm-hmm. But this is what worries me in terms of relationships, which is what we started the conversation with earlier. It worries me with relationships because my definition of a good woman is someone who is able to support me when I am at my lowest.
Oh, I agree.
If I am at my weakest, if I cannot stand up, if I am physically handicapped, or if I am mentally incapacitated, that is not the time I want my woman to stab me in the back. And I can tell you right now, many divorces were when the men were at their weakest and couldn't provide, and it's just sad.
And I want to touch on that a little bit. It might sound like, you know, like to a lot of people that would sound sexist, but statistically, I mean, a lot of articles would agree with that. On the other hand, maybe there is a lot of guys who are just like that. When a girl needs support, they need emotional support. They need that guy to satisfy them, if you would say.
Okay, and I agree. And I'm sure there's men who
do you think as men
can't support women.
You think as men we struggle with that?
Struggle with supporting them emotionally?
Yeah.
As men as a whole, yes. Personally, I actually kind of enjoy it. I actually kind of enjoy being there for them emotionally. I think that makes me stronger. I kind of learn more about my significant other when I'm there to be attentive and listen to her emotions, but to a certain extent, obviously. If it starts becoming whiny, or if it starts becoming to the point where I start getting blamed for the issues that she is presenting to me, then we start fighting. And then that's a situation that I obviously don't want to be in. So everything has to be in moderation, everything to a certain extent. I'd be willing to be there for a woman emotionally up until a certain extent. If I start becoming blamed for her emotions, that's when I start to dislike having to be there.
See, I personally would have to not be biased as a guy, and I would have to agree on both sides. I feel like there has to be some kind of mutualism, just some kind of fine line where we respect each other, that we know never to go over. It's like, it's almost to the point like where it's law in life, is that there's a line where you don't fuck over your significant other. There should be a law, like going out and killing somebody is kind of like a natural law. You're not allowed to do that. You're really not allowed to do that. That's just given. But I think there should be a fine line in a relationship when you guys
It's very hard. You say respect, but it's very hard for a man to understand his woman's definition of respect. Same, likewise for the woman understanding the man's definition of respect. They're usually very different.
Yeah.
They're usually very different. And I'm not saying that most relationships don't try to achieve respect in each other, and I think most actually can. Respect should be there. Respect is not something that should be lost. I think it does get lost, but it's something that should have been in the relationship, and it should have been.
No, yeah, that's what I meant. I said law, not lost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I said law. Like, that's a given fact on this earth.
No, you were saying what you were saying was if it actually became a law where they couldn't.
No, not like a government pact, government cheese. No,
that's the way I heard it.
No.
Law.
I meant,
you mean like a law?
Like a law in science doesn't necessarily mean a law.
You mean
like
a natural
truth.
Okay,
natural truth, and that's like what we're about as New Thinkers. Okay. The reason why I decided to name this podcast New Thinkers is because eventually over time, we progress, and that's a given. That's evolution. I mean, unless you're a Christian like Ben Carson, but he doesn't believe in evolution, and the guy was like the most successful brain surgeon. I don't want to hate, but that's a little off, man. As scientists, that's bad. Okay, but I mean, not bad. I mean, you form your own opinions, but it is a fact. It is fact at this point that evolution does exist. Okay, but
look at Kim Kardashian, guys. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say.
Oh man, she's losing it.
Okay, so evolution.
Yeah, that's fact. But like I was saying, with law, that is a natural truth, man. You need to respect that. Like, going out and killing somebody is wrong. That screwing somebody over one day in a relationship.
But let me ask you this. What if a person doesn't believe or is unaware that they have screwed over their lover? There's many times where I have felt hurt and the other person didn't understand what they did wrong. They're just like,
I think that would be a communication.
Excuse me,
honestly,
you hurt me.
That's a communication issue, and I don't think you should take the next step if there's a communication issue. No way.
I disagree that it's. I don't think it's a communication issue.
I believe it's 100% a communication issue.
Even if someone expresses their hurt, if the person didn't understand what they did wrong. Most of the time, even if they do apologize, it's not sincere. I don't think it's a communication
problem.
That's
not all the time, though, dude. That's not all the time.
Yeah, but it's experience.
It is experience for you, for your father, for even me, but that doesn't mean it's everybody.
No, but I'm sure there's people who are relating to something I'm saying here.
Of course, man.
I'm sure people have been in a situation. All right,
course.
raise your hand.
That's 100%. You don't do that.
Raise your hand if you have been hurt by someone and they didn't understand what they did wrong. Raise your hand. Okay, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm raising my hand.
I'm sure. Okay, 2 people in this room. That's 100%. Okay,
that's such a small population.
And I don't think 100% of people experience that problem because of communication issues. I think that's a human problem because people lack dun 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 dun. My favorite word in the English language.
Is it empathy?
Empathy.
Empathetic. Just being empathetic.
People lack.
I would have to agree.
Empathy.
I would have to agree 100%. I think even animals.
And you know what's
Some
funny?
animals.
What's funny is I actually believe that we are all born with a lot of empathy. I think we are born as toddlers to really think, treat others the way you want to be treated. But I think you become jaded and lost in society. When I look at I have a niece and I have a nephew, and when I look at my little niece, every single time she goes out to play, and she meets somebody new, she goes, "Hey, it's a friend." And she goes running, "Hey, friend, let's go play." And the friend goes, "Fuck, I love play. Who doesn't love play? Let's go play." That's all they think about. They think, "Oh, person, I love him. I want to have fun with him." That's not the way it is now. People lack empathy now because nobody trusts each other anymore.
I wonder why that is, man. I wonder who was the first asshole to break the trust barrier and led the whole group of sheep to them. Oh, we don't trust anybody. Honestly, dude, I think that's a really shitty way to go about life, to be honest, is to not trust anybody. I think as life goes on, you need to trust, dude. You need to trust. If you don't trust, nothing gets done. Nothing will get done if you don't have trust. You have trust every day. Do you trust yourself to take a breath of air?
You have to trust people, of course. To again, if we want to talk about success, I can't succeed in making a movie unless I have a team, which means I need to trust that my editor will edit my movie. I need to trust that my actor will know the lines. I need to trust all those things because if I don't trust all those things, I can't find my team. So there is trust that's necessary in life, but I also understand the people who become that jaded to the point where they don't trust anybody. Don't think it's right, it's wrong. But I understand them because it's a defense mechanism, and it's a defense mechanism from people who lack empathy. From people who from people who don't understand you, don't want to understand you, don't care to understand you. It's just this that's a majority of people, and it's hard to change that. It's hard to change that fact of life.
So I'm going to flip the script just a little bit, and I'm going to go off of maybe a controversial topic because it's just going to like turn a lot of heads, I think, if people, they're going to be, "Oh, you're crazy." Okay, so let's put ISIS and let's compare ISIS to Americans.
I thought you were about to say to women.
No, I wasn't. We would be hounded down. We'd be founded. You know.
Okay, sorry. We would be founded. ISIS to America.
Well, the thing is with that. So our plan is to eventually kill them or destroy them. That's the mass.
We're talking about ISIS. We're not ISIS Taylor, ISIS. Not the porn star.
No.
Name drop.
She's so sexy, dude.
I saw her in person.
She's so beautiful.
I saw her in person.
My God,
she was prettier in person.
Dude, listen. Johnny Sins is our man.
Johnny Sins, I shook that guy's hand. It was
hand.
Greasy. It was rugged. Anyway,
dude,
okay.
Once we get big enough, let's kick it with him, man. Let's go to a party with him.
If Johnny's listening right now, no, hey, I met you at the gym.
I really hope Johnny Sins eventually listens to this podcast.
I saw you at the gym. There are other guys there, and they gave me that look, you know, this guy's brave.
This guy's so brave.
He's walking up to the guy that we all jerk it to. And he's getting a handshake.
Oh, dude, he's gross. How big were his hands?
His hands are massive. He had massive hands, but they were short, you know, like short fingers. But his palms were massive,
hairy and moist.
He was wearing workout gloves. Thank God. If I made skin to skin contact,
oh man, you know,
I might have red ball syndrome. He has the reddest balls. I would definitely get part of his red ball syndrome for sure.
You would get something. You would at least catch a cold. Like, I'm surprised you didn't catch a cold.
How do your balls get that red? Is that from the
Dude,
sex?
He has over 1,000
What is his dad
scenes.
Santa?
He has 1,000 scenes on Brazzers alone. Oh man.
Okay, well, alright, ISIS, not ISIS.
I just wanted to say, like, since our plan, we have a plan to destroy them and to just kill them. On the other hand, they're killing people, they're destroying people all the time. So, at this point, is evil necessary? Like, is there such thing as a necessary evil? That we have to kill them to eliminate that? Or does that keep recreating? There's going to be kids who want to become terrorists.
I
And
think
it's
if
a
we knew
cycle.
the answer to ISIS, if we had the answer to terror, that, I don't know.
All they want is dildos.
We don't have...
Yeah,
that's all we
All they
wanted.
want is fleshlights and dildos.
That's
It's
what we wanted,
that's-
guys. Didn't you get it?
But honestly, is there such thing as a necessary evil?
No.
You don't think so?
I don't think there's such a thing as necessary evil, no. I think that terrorists are very much misunderstood in the Western civilization. I've been in Israel in war. I know exactly what it's like to have to live in a country that is getting bombed daily, and I know that they are very animalistic. They have a tribal mentality, and the Western civilization doesn't want to accept it. And they try to think that these people have some kind of agenda other than the fact that they're just fucking sick. They are just fucking animals. They are gargantuan fucking barbarians.
What do you? Since there's
that
this
you
big
can't
debate.
stop.
There's this big debate
You
of
can't
what.
negotiate with them, which is why I can't stand our fucking president. Which is why I fucking wish Putin would be our president. Because this motherfucker
That's a
ain't
bold statement.
negotiating with fucking anybody. That motherfucker's taking names. Our fucking president's sitting on his ass. I don't know what he's doing, playing golf, just like George Bush. They always play golf.
Honestly, I think the guy is doing the best he can. I just don't think he's 100% fit to be president. Well, honestly, dude, the job to be president
guy does
is like
nothing.
nobody's job, to be honest.
God does.
Like, one guy can't, talk for a million people. One guy can't talk
Let
for a
me
whole
tell you
country
something
and
about
nation.
how malls are protected in Israel because of terrorism. You drive into a mall in Israel, they check your trunk. You drive into a mall in America, it's an open parking lot underneath a huge floor of civilians.
Mhm.
Don't think you can just take I live in LA right now, okay?
Mhm.
I live maybe 3 miles away from the Beverly Center.
Mhm.
I can take a van filled with incredibly powerful explosives that you make with nothing, cheap shit that anybody can make in the Middle East, and park it underneath the Beverly Center parking lot, and I'm taking down a whole fucking floor. Easy. Easy. If ISIS is here and they're planning something, an attack is easy, and an attack is inevitable.
Why do you think they haven't done it already? Or if they've done it? Because terrorists have been...
If they haven't done it already, they're probably just A, either not really here, or B, not prepared.
Or do you think our self-defense is that good?
No, I don't.
You really don't think so?
No. Well, I just explained
do
to
you
you.
think
I
they-
just
do you-
gave
do
you
you
one
think-
example.
do
I
you
just
think-
gave you one example. Who is protecting me from going into a mall's parking lot with explosives? Who? Who's stopping me?
Not really anybody.
Okay. If somebody snuck into this country from Tijuana, which happens a lot, and they had drugs.
You sound like a Trump supporter right now.
I do?
You sound like such a Donald Trump supporter.
Why?
No, that's exactly. He
I
wants to
fucking-
build a wall that's 1,000
No,
feet
no,
high.
I'm not.
That says
That's
Trump
not what
on
I
it.
meant. I'm not saying I have anything
No, I'm
against
just kidding. I'm
people
kidding.
from
I'm kidding.
Tijuana, and I actually like the fact that they're coming into this country. I'm completely against Trump. What I'm saying is it's very easy to get into this country. So if you're a bad guy and you want to get into this country, you have easy access. There's fucking ways into this country that no one protects. And if you're here, and if you have explosives, what is stopping you from going into a mall with a van full of explosives?
So it's either do you think a mind
It's
state...
just an example.
A mind state is better. I think our mind state is different compared to the Middle East. They've been going to war and they're at war.
I'm telling you, the
for
Western
thousands of
civilization
years.
does not understand the mind of a terrorist.
Exactly.
Period.
So there must
I've
be
learned it from experience.
There must be not there definitely is terrorists.
They
here.
are animals.
I would agree that they are
They're
here.
not the
But
human
our
being
mind
you've
state,
ever met.
Our
They are
mind state
animals.
is completely.
They will kill your children.
I think the reason why it's
they will
not
kill
happening.
their children.
Okay.
They don't give a fuck about your life.
Yes, I do agree.
Or their lives.
So our mind state is a lot different, which does not allow for terrorist attacks. But as we've seen over the years, there has been several terrorist attacks, even against our own people. I think that's a definition of terrorism. You attack and kill our own people. Like, look at some of the police officers that have killed, these innocent people, like they just throw them around like animals, like.
Did you see the one of?
You see the cop that throws the little girl?
Yeah, in the
classroom?
you
fucking moron.
Did you see the?
That guy is a piece of shit.
I wish I knew
that guy is
the
a
reporters'
fucking
names,
moron.
but the white
dude,
girl.
I got into a fight with a bunch of old Republicans that don't even make up their own decisions and ideologies, and they're like, oh fuck, that cop was right. That girl should have got out of her seat. Indeed, she should have got out of her seat, but the guy shouldn't have thrown her across the fucking room. Like, you're an animal. That's a child. That's somebody's baby. He could have easily killed her on accident, and then there's blood on your hands for the rest of your life. And I feel like if there is an afterlife, there's a special place, if not no place, because I think no place is better than any kind of place for people who commit fouls like that. Killing, fucking somebody over, stealing. Those are the kind of fouls, those natural laws that you shouldn't break.
Whoa, that went a lot of places.
It did. It was left and right. And straight, up and down.
I think everybody's laws has a lot to do with their individual ideas of their own common sense. I think we all have a different common sense, and I think that's funny because common sense means it's common, but the truth is everybody's definition of common sense is very individual.
I don't think common sense is so common anymore, man.
Yeah,
I think people just make up their own shit and just go.
Exactly. So
this is right. I'm doing it.
So that being said, their definition of right and wrong, or I don't know, where you go when you die, or all this stuff, if you committed a foul, I don't know, man. If you want me to be really honest with you, I don't understand anybody. I don't fuck with anybody, because a lot of people don't have the same common sense I have. I don't understand them. A lot of people.
Is your job to understand a lot of people, to be honest? Or are you trying to understand yourself? At the end of the day, man.
Of course, at the end of the day, you're trying to understand yourself. I'm just saying, my point of that is, you're.
A lot of people haven't been pushed or tested yet, man. They don't know themselves yet.
Well, let's go back to the toddler. So that toddler immediately saw a person and goes, "Hey, friend, let's be friends." I still have that in me. That toddler hasn't gone anywhere. And the people who love themselves and take care of themselves don't lose that toddler. Yeah. So, speaking of that toddler,
that will always stay with you, man. If you don't let it go, it will always stay with you.
A lot of people who've lost it.
Yeah, exactly. You can't let it go. You
can't let it go if you have awareness in yourself, and if you have
honestly,
love in yourself.
Your intuition as a child plays a big part of your the path you choose as a grown up. Mm-hmm. Definitely. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And so, speaking of that inner child, you have that inner child in you. I don't lose that side of myself. So if I want to go up to a person and be like, "Hey friend, how's it going? Let's kick it," right? Mm. I still want to understand those people. I still want to understand the people in my life I consider my friends. Let's just put it that way. People in my life I consider good people. The people in my life I consider, my people. And at the end of the day, a lot of the time, I misunderstand. a lot of the time I understand them at a fundamental level, but I don't understand their version of common sense. Because my version of common sense, my version of right and wrong, is usually very different than most people's. It's usually very individualistic.
So there's no such thing as common sense.
There's no such thing as common sense, and there's no such thing as right and wrong. Everything's individualistic. We're all created by the same thing.
I would have to agree to the point that we are sort of pushed to someone else's morals, or we're still, as a country, as we're developing, we're still pushed to this Christian ideology. Even though I'm a Catholic myself, I still think that we shouldn't be pushed towards that one main ideology. However, I do think that if there is no common sense, that there has to be a common law. I keep reverting back to the common law.
Okay. Let's get to the bottom.
Obviously, you can't go out and
scratch it all.
Okay.
You're made up of matter, right? I'm really getting this deep now. You're made up of matter.
You're matter.
You're matter. You're atoms, okay? Matter is what? It's stardust. It's here forever. It's recycled. The matter, the atoms that you have that creates your physical being right now has been used before by the universe. It's a recycled product. So technically, we are all the same thing. We're all this recycled atoms that just keep breaking apart.
So if we're all the same thing, then we can't have individualistic.
Now, okay. Now that's where my point is coming into play. So we're all technically the same thing. Technically. But our minds, where we grew up, our being is so individualistic.
Our physical is the same as everybody else, but our mind, our mental
it's very individualistic, and I think it has a lot to do with, you got two parents who screwed, and their chromosomes mixed, and their hormones mixed, and their DNA's mixed, and you've been spliced up with all this code that might be your common sense, but it has nothing to do with the other person's DNA splice.
No, that's totally physical, man.
So
that's physical.
So that's where the conflict comes. The conflict comes because there we are. We all know that we are one. Look at those people who go out and take drugs, the hippie life, right? We're all one. We all want to be proclaimed as one. We all want to love each other as one. That is at the core who we are. We are one. At the core, we all are the same one thing. But our minds are so different from each other's. And it creates a conflict of love and hate. Because you love people naturally, but you hate them because you're so much different than they are.
Yes. Then with that, there is so much headbutting in the room. With that, you would have like a repel. So if you have the love and hate together, then how would people act somewhat decent? How do people in society act somewhat decent?
Is
that their repels? Everyone's repel equals some kind of neutral barrier where you're supposed to act. And then the people who go to the extreme, they break out. That's because they can't take the constant friction between another individual.
I agree. But let's put it this way. Let's say if everybody just sucked it up and just devoted themselves to themselves. Let's say I can't do that. I got to be honest with you. I'm actually too empathetic to do that. I actually care about people too much to just focus on myself.
That's the same. I'm the same.
But that being said, if we all individually just focused on that primarily, the focus of knowing and loving and creating the best version of you, I think we would live in a unison, happy world. But I don't think we were created that way. I think we were created where you have to have the conflict of love and hate. You have to have that part of you that loves your fellow human, because that's life right there. You can't. Life needs help. Life needs the balance. Life needs someone that's hurt so someone can help them get back up.
So do you think life is just based on humans now? Like, or do you think animals crave this kind of empathy from another? I'm sure they do, man. Animals.
No, I never
actually
said
do.
it's just human, but I wish I knew more about it,
Yeah.
about a way an animal thinks.
I
You know, I definitely think they have souls.
Do you think-
I'm a strong believer in souls, by the
Do you
way.
see-
So
do you think,
I
like-
think humans have souls, and I think animals
Do you
have
think
souls.
like whale sharks are debating whether or not they should get married because their filter feeding will get cut in half if they get a divorce in the water? You think they think about that?
What I think about
The
humans,
plankton will be cut in right in
what I
half.
think about humans is
I think animals have greed too, man.
What
They
I
have to.
what I think sets a human out of, above animals. Let's just say, other than the obvious fact that we're not in the food chain.
Oh, we're very much in the food chain, my friend. We're at the very top.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
We don't have to leave the house, like Louis C.K. said. This is a Louis C.K. thing. He made a joke about this. You don't have to leave your house and worry if I'm going to get eaten today. Every other animal does. So, other than that, I think what sets humans apart from animals is I don't think animals believe they have free choice. I think humans do.
So it's a belief.
Yes, it's belief.
Yeah, it's a belief.
Mm-hmm. I think humans' belief in
So, do
in free
animals
choice.
have belief?
See, I'm primarily picking out free choice because I think it's free choice that sets us apart.
I'm just wondering, man. Like animals.
And it
might...
it also depends on the animal. I
Yeah.
think rabbits are fucking retarded. Have you ever seen
compared to like a dolphin?
It depends on I don't think rabbits have very much to think about at all.
Wait, besides jumping in front of cars?
Yeah,
when they see light.
I don't know who lives in Henderson listening to this podcast. I'm sure it'll get released here, repping Hendo. But the rabbits,
best place on earth.
the rabbits in these neighborhoods are
the
fucking,
best place on earth.
The rabbits in these neighborhoods are a little off, huh? They look like they play. There's one of two things.
Hey Mikey, out of all 50 states, your dad chose to move. Our parents chose to move to Henderson, Nevada.
I don't know if it's a choice.
Decided to raise us here.
I don't know if it's a choice.
I wonder what they thought.
Well, I was raised mostly in L.A. and then
shut up! You got your morals in Vegas.
I lived in
dirty
Vegas.
bastard.
I lived in Vegas for 5 years, and it was probably my biggest 5 years. So yeah, I probably grew.
It was a big 5 years, dude.
I grew the most here.
So when did you come? You came from LA.
Middle of sophomore year of high school is when I came from.
Oh man, you came
LA.
You were dusting your shoulders off from Israel. You're like,
yeah, exactly. I actually lived in Israel for 6 months.
That must have sucked, dude,
and
to be honest.
and then moved back to LA.
Like just the language barrier, not because of like it's a foreign.
Yeah,
country,
dude.
just the barrier.
It's it's kind of a long story, but long story short, I don't know the language fluently, and I was forced there, and I was in my first year of high school at the time, and it really fucked with my schooling. It fucked with my education. I had to come back to LA, and when I came back to LA,
did you get anything done while you were in LA when you came back?
Not really. I had to go to charter schooling. If anybody knows what charter schooling is like, I was behind in credits due to Israel, not because I am.
Well, how many credits? Because I know in high school you actually get a lot of credits for like one semester. I don't know how it like runs anymore.
Yeah, it's a lot of credits.
Yeah.
The thing with charter schooling is it's done in packets, so you don't go to school.
Oh,
physically.
that's right. You know,
And
they
so-
have like that independent
So
study.
I was
that
doing
they
charter
give here.
schooling when I came back from Israel.
People were
And
too lazy
then
to
my
get
father
a degree.
Then my father moved to Vegas for business reasons, and then that's when I moved to Vegas, because at that point what I was doing in LA was living with my mom and going to charter school, and everything was just kind of shitty. And my dad goes, hey, at least if you come to Vegas, I'll make sure you make it into a high school so you can at least meet people, yada yada yada. I took that leap of faith. Wow. I lived in Vegas 5 years. I never loved Vegas, but now that I've started visiting Vegas,
appreciated it to some
yeah,
extent.
no, I have to
some
give it
extent.
the benefit of the doubt, because now that I've visited from LA again, having just recently moved back to LA, I'm not so used to it, but now that I'm visiting Vegas, I miss so much. I miss the skies mostly. The skies here are gorgeous. The day I came back, which was just 2 nights ago or 1 night ago, the skies were like purple and pink and orange.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They're always like this. They're always just so
dude, get
pretty.
this. I woke up from a nap and I stare out my window and I see the sky. and the sky is like orange and pink, and it was so beautiful, man. It's like you just take time out of the day and you appreciate where
That's
you're
something
at.
in LA you don't really do,
Yeah.
and I miss that because in LA there's smog and
The smog.
Yeah,
Honestly,
you
man,
don't really see much in the sky, really.
honestly, living in California was interesting, but I lived in Santa Barbara, which was like a little bit like off of the smog. But in the mornings, it would be like very foggy, and or even at night it would be very foggy, and I actually appreciated that. Like that's just another hint at nature, like some nature, like not so mixed in with LA. That was mostly the ocean water doing that.
I think there's just plus and minuses to any place. I love LA.
And the humidity.
I've grown to love Vegas actually more so than I've been out of Vegas. Let's be honest about Vegas. It's very boring. LA's nowhere near as boring as Vegas. LA's actually lots of fun. There's things to do constantly. But there's plus and minuses to any place. And as of right now, we're in our 20s. I don't feel like any place is home. The place that I'm sitting in now was what I called home not too long ago. 8 months ago, I called this place home. I'm looking at it now, and it doesn't feel like home anymore. And the home I currently live in, as much as I'm happy that I'm growing and I'm striving to be independent, it doesn't feel like home yet.
Yeah.
Nothing's home. I think we have to work. That's again, we're all linking these things, but that has a lot to do with my definition of success again. Finding your home is a hard thing to do, I think, and I think it takes time in life, and I don't think that's something that you need to figure. I think we have
all these notions of what home is going to be like. Oh, ocean water, oh, pretty sights, but who knows, man? You could find your happiness anywhere, really.
Of course.
You could find your happiness as a person in Alaska.
As of me,
not saying Alaska's bad. I'm pretty sure Alaska.
Me personally, I just did not too long ago. I did a 10-day trip to Utah, camping and hiking for every single day, and not having to worry about society or money or phones or any of that. I could live like that a year easy. I'm not even lying to you. Oh yeah. I loved it. I loved every second.
You damn liberal.
I loved every second. I loved every second honestly, that I didn't have to think about my fucking phone. I loved every second.
Nobody is emailing you. I would love for that.
As soon as I came back to society, which I knew I had to do because I'm not a fucker, or a fuckhead, but as soon as I came back to society, back to the phone, back to the social media, back to the girlfriend, back to the bullshit, back to the parents, it was just all back to everything that just doesn't feel natural to me. What feels natural to me is I can just go out and do whatever the fuck I want. I woke up, I can do whatever I want. Run around, jump around, play around, share conversations by a fire, eat, drink,
be naked
laugh.
while doing that all.
Be naked. I don't know, man. I'm not saying living like that is not something I could do permanently. I'm just saying, like, that could feel like home to me. That even something as simple as that.
Maybe when you grow older, you and your family will go on constant travels across like beautiful plains and sites. For a long extended amounts of time. Like, hey, let's take 6 months off. Like, well, you guys could do online school. If you could do that, like, and just travel. Not RV. I think RVs are weird. It's kind of creepy. I like tour buses. Tour buses are cool as fuck, but
Israeli soldiers after the army, all they do is travel for a year or two.
Are they all stuck in Israel, or do they get to go around?
What do you mean?
Like, because I know like there's several other countries, like say, France and England and Iraq. They held us in Afghanistan and Iraq. The Israeli army, do they travel with their allies, or do they help out their allies?
I'm still a little confused about the question. Like, what do you mean by help out? Like, there's troops in other countries?
Yes.
Not really. They're secret service. There's like they're the secret ones. Well, they're coming in there secretly.
I'm pretty sure a lot of Israelis train other countries.
Yeah, they train. But I'm serious. If they're invading, they're doing it in a really secretive way. They know what they're doing.
Like the Gaza Strip.
They know what they're doing. Their secret service is the prime.
Their army. That's my charger, right? You're gonna fucking break it.
I'm doing jump ropes with this charger.
You're doing jump ropes, dude. Oh man. That's cool though, man. They're not in everybody else's shit.
Listen,
You
David,
know?
they're nothing like America. Don't think they need to be in
They're
anybody
nobody
else's shit.
else's shit.
They have so
honestly,
much shit to deal with. They're such a small country.
Yeah.
People.
That's why, though. That's why. I think, or because I think,
If the topic's Israel,
be
I have
honest-
a lot to say.
to be
guys.
honest, if you don't
If
think,
the topic's Israel, I have a lot to say about how ignorant people are about Israel and their struggles.
I'm sure.
on a daily
I,
basis.
you know, and contrary to popular belief, well, to people,
And
who
I
are-
know
who-
the truth.
and no, to people who are
Fuckers.
very ignorant and who are just uneducated, think
I've
you
been
know,
there.
Jew-
Have you been
let me
there?
Speak. Let me speak.
During war, I know the truth.
So, and contrary to belief, people say Jewish people are fickle, they're frugal
Mhm.
people. Me personally, and what I've experienced is Israeli Jewish individuals are one of the most giving people, one of the most giving masses on this earth. If you want me to be
It's
honest,
nice of you.
I honestly think, because not considering you are my best friend, but
Mhm.
I don't want to be biased, but
Mhm.
I believe that a lot of Jewish people that I've met are the most giving people on this earth.
I gotta be honest though, my family is a bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? An exception. There are still people who are gonna be backstabbing, non-giving, non-empathetic people, but yes, if you're referring to the household I grew up in, the Jewish household I grew up in, the Jewish values of my household have been very much a giving one. Very much. So yeah, I'm sure your experience.
That's probably why your dad has so much success, is because one, he works hard. Two, he
Number
is
one is
very
he works
giving.
his ass off.
He is very giving. Your dad is a giving individual,
Mhm.
and I completely respect that, because
Mhm.
I could see that. You could tell somebody who's
Of course,
very giving.
You know a giver when you see
Oh,
it.
definitely. Man.
I'm a giver.
I would like to think I'm a giver. I wish I could do a little bit more. I
I'm
just
a
feel like
giver.
I need to satisfy, like,
I gave you my boxing gloves and my pull-up bar for your first time.
I do use them.
Mm-hmm.
I do use
They
them.
were mine. Gave them to you for free.
For free.
Anyway,
So yeah, I mean,
Jewish people, are they fickle, frugal? Are they
fickle, frugal. They
are
have
they-
all big noses,
are they,
even though I have
are
a
they
big nose.
selfish?
But I'm not
are
Jewish.
they materialistic? Okay, I think Jewish people are one of the most successful minorities. I think the most successful minority, actually, now that I think about it. And I think because we are a minority, and I think because we are successful, it comes with a lot of funny stereotypes. The stereotypes of being cheap with our money is funny.
That's just, those are people who still cling on to this ape-like.
There's definitely anti-Semitism in this country. I've
Oh, for
experienced
sure.
it in Vegas a lot.
For
you know.
sure.
If you want me to be
there's
honest,
a lot of stupid people
if
here.
you want me to be honest, in LA, I hardly ever received anti-Semitism because there's so many Jewish people in LA, Jewish families.
And you would
Jewish
have to
children.
argue that people are more educated in LA than Las Vegas.
And in Vegas, I definitely experienced anti-Semitism. It was pretty clear. It was pretty clear.
you get a little look inside people's households when they
I
exude anti-Semitism. When they exude that.
Mhm.
That shows you what kind of rat family they come from.
I
Some
remember
just piece of shit people.
one in particular story that I remember, and it's a really simple memory. and Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
It's a really simple memory of anti-Semitism, and it's kind of like the one I remember the most. And I was walking into a Smart and Final, which is located on Eastern Avenue, guys, Hendo people. So I'm about to walk into a Smart and Final, and this businessman is walking out, and he has a briefcase, a tie. He looks professional. He looks happy. I make eye contact with him. I give him like a head nod and a smile, and he kind of looks at me funny. He looks down at my chest, and I was wearing a Star of David at the time, and he spit on the floor. He hocked a loogie on the floor.
Oh,
He didn't look at me.
God. I
And
remember I got very angry when you told me this. I was like, what kind of just
It's-
foul
it's,
human being?
It's such a funny and simple way
Oh, you're
of saying,
you're this religion?
wow.
Wow.
And you know what's funny? He looked like a
Wow.
good, a decent man with
How old is he?
A middle-aged man. He had a briefcase, successful-looking guy, had a suit, he had a tie.
Oh,
I'm serious.
Mikey. Dude, I'm so sorry. I feel sorry, like, to be a part of some of the, like, be a part of this population here if that person was included.
You know what that showed me about anti-Semitism? How closeted it is. Mm. How people are afraid.
A lot of things are closeted
of being anti-Semitic, even though they are. I hate that. If you're anti-Semitic, fucking show me.
Yeah.
Fucking be that guy.
Show me, you pussy.
Be that guy who spit on that floor.
Yeah.
There's so many people who are anti-Semitic who will look at me and look away and I'll never know.
Yeah.
I'll never know.
Yeah.
I want them to have just like an Inglourious Bastards, the fucking swastika on their head.
Honestly, dude, give me half the chance to do that to somebody who's anti-Semitic. That just shows you that person should not be trusted.
They should start wearing
they should start
Holocaust badges.
We should burn those people. Those people are just like, how dare you? You don't, just because you don't agree with somebody's religious background, you spit in their direction. You give them a foul look.
Oh, it's the same thing as racism.
Yeah, seriously. While you struggle with your addictions at home.
People are struggling.
Idiots. Such stupid people.
Back to the cops. God. We know there's racism in cops. There's nothing you can do.
But you could tell, man. Those I'm telling you.
Nothing you can do.
I don't want to name names. We won't name names ever on here. But I don't want to name names. But you know who we were talking about. That person who, like, you could get a glimpse of how their life is at home. Their dad comes home with greasy fucking hands. Grabs a big gulp every morning of Coca-Cola.
No. You know what it is?
Has been working under fucking cars all night.
Those guys,
hates his kids.
Those guys that, it's one of two. You can get those good cops. Those cops who've always wanted to be cops, always wanted to save the day, be the good guy, make things right. Those cops exist, and I commend them, and God bless them. But there's a lot of shit cops. And they're always those fuckers in high school who didn't want to give a shit about shit, who just chewed and just fucking sat on their asses and grew up and said, what's something easy I can do? Oh, I can just be a cop and they'll make me decent money, especially in Henderson. Think about Henderson cops. You know how much money Henderson cops make? They make about $70,000 a year on a good year. It's fucking good money.
That is good money, man, and I appreciate the protection.
I don't.
They do. I appreciate.
What is there to protect in Henderson? Well, the second safest city. Well,
there's a reason why it's the safest city is because of that, man. To be honest, that's why.
The only thing I liked about the Henderson cops is they kept the bums out. That's the only thing I liked. But what they did for a living is gave people tickets on 7 Hills and stopped high school parties.
That's very true. I appreciate everything that police officers have done.
Like I said,
there are plenty of piece of shit human beings who want to become police officers.
Going back to the two kinds of
cops. Know for a fact that these people don't have the mental capacity to deal with a tragic situation. They'll just black out and do something stupid, and that's fact. These people are bad.
Racist.
Like those people who just want to go in for it not for the wrong reason, or it just makes me money and I have authority. I have this authority. That's like, those are the people who are real. Those people should be locked in cages. Like those people, if they don't want to do anything great, do anything worthwhile,
I'm really disgusted in cops. I can speak about
some cops. Don't say cops. Cops is.
Well, I saw. You heard what I said in the beginning, and if we can rewind this,
I know, but people misinterpret a lot of things, and
there's good cops.
People are probably like, oh, they hate cops. They must be liberals. They must be this. No. We're just saying there are pieces of shit in any
There's
field.
Pieces of shit in any field, but being a piece of shit cop is the worst. You know why? Because they have the authority over civilization. They have authority over...
Well, that I would have to agree.
They have authority over you.
10%.
Yeah, okay, they have authority over you, so I don't want to have to deal with a cop that has an anti-Semitic problem or a cop that has a racial problem
Very
with
true.
my friend and this passenger. I don't want to have to deal with that. That's not what I want my cops to be.
Very true.
There are good cops, yes, and of course I meant good cops. I'm just saying, and I commend those cops, and God bless them, just to repeat myself. Gobble, just like the bad cops. Gobble.
That's exactly the fat ones who grab their coffee and donuts.
The turkeys.
Oh man! Oh sir, you were 5 miles over the limit. I'm gonna ticket you and make your life hell for a couple weeks.
Oh my god.
You can't afford this, so what?
I remember telling
Deal
a
with
cop
it.
who pulled me over going 5 over. I remember telling him, please don't. I just got a ticket like a week ago. And he goes, well, then why didn't you learn from it? And I'm just like, are you fucking 5 miles over? Why didn't I learn from
Yeah.
it? Because I'm not going over. I'm going 5 miles over.
You are going over, but 5 miles. There should be some kind of grace in that. Like I said, that person comes home, hates his wife, hates his kids, doesn't even.
We
shower
know
after
this.
work. We know this.
That person hates his wife.
Hates his wife. He has to hate his wife. His wife is just like getting pregnant left and right, shooting out babies.
Speaking of babies,
I wouldn't chew on
who's
my
seen
cord.
American Sniper?
Oh God.
Speaking of fake babies.
Fake babies. The fakest baby appeared in the movie American Sniper. That was like the worst movie I've ever seen.
One of the worst movies I've
I don't
ever
even
seen.
want to go into it because that was probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
How can Clint Eastwood, as a director, writer, producer, whatever the fuck, how can you be a successful filmmaker and say, you know what, we don't need a real baby for this. Let's settle with the doll my niece bought last week. You know, it'll cost us less and we don't have to deal with the baby vomiting on anybody. And I'm trying to think how, as an actor or an actress, you don't say something like, you know, this baby's fake. I need a real baby on set or else I can't fucking do this. Like, I can't, this is unprofessional. I can't do this. I gotta be honest with you. If I was, what's his name, Bradley Cooper? If I was a star, if I was a star like Bradley Cooper, I would have said no.
I would have
I would have said, listen, Clint, I'm not fucking with the scene today. We don't have a real baby.
We don't have a real, really, we can't grab a baby.
And then Clint looks at me and he goes, yeah, you move his fingers around like this. I remember looking at the scene and Bradley Cooper's pretending to have the baby move his arm, like he's moving the baby's arm for it. And I was thinking to myself, you know, I'm trying to think of that conversation with Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood just comes up to me and he's just like, all right, listen, the baby's not in, so you're gonna have to move this doll's hands to make it look real.
I think he co-produced it. I think he didn't direct it all the way, man.
What do you mean, Clint Eastwood?
Yeah,
Clint Eastwood was the director.
I doubt that. I
What do you mean you doubted? He's a fucking Academy Award-winning director. What are you talking about?
I don't know, man. He's old as fuck. His brain cells are shot.
He's definitely the director, and he definitely fucked
without
up.
help. You think without help?
What do you mean without help? He has a whole team.
This guy doesn't know how to manage fucking.
What do you mean without help? Of course he had help. He had a team. He had a crew. Anyway, that's beneath the point. The point is he fucked up.
He's fantastic. I'm just fucking.
No, he's
just old as shit. Yeah.
He's not fantastic.
First of all,
he made American Sniper, and $1 Million Baby wasn't that good.
$1 Million Baby was actually kind of trash.
And he's a much better actor than he is a director.
Oh, for sure,
I fucking love
he has nothing on De Niro.
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly was great. Actually, my favorite Clint Eastwood movie that he directed was Gran Torino.
Listen,
actually.
man. Gran Torino
was badass.
Goodfellas, bro. Goodfellas.
He didn't direct.
No, I know. I said that's why I said De Niro. It's like he's not better than De Niro.
Oh, I didn't hear.
But you said his like best movie that he had was like you said like a good movie is like his recent good movies like.
I'm
Gran
saying
Torino.
the best thing he directed was, in my opinion, Gran Torino.
Oh, that's so bad.
I'm pretty sure he did direct
I'm sure De Niro did some directing on Goodfellas.
I'm sure he
helped.
De Niro is just the cat's pajamas. De Niro didn't help the directing.
Scorsese is amazing, but I'm sure De Niro had some influence.
Well, De Niro always has input. He's the character, and so does Leo. Leo has.
Dude, no, Scorsese's the best. I think Scorsese is legitimately the best.
Well, the best alive. Stanley Kubrick was the best.
Stanley Kubrick.
Stanley Kubrick, name drop.
Stanley Kubrick, name drop.
Name drop.
So what?
On this episode of Name Drop, we were talking about Stanley Kubrick.
Name drop.
Stanley Kubrick,
dude.
for those who don't know, write his name down. Oh, Macho just came out the blink.
Came out the grave, so.
my dog's
he just died and
Macho,
came back.
He's
like,
a
whatever.
10-year-old chihuahua. Anyway, those who don't know Stanley Kubrick, please write the name down. It's a well-known name.
2001: A Space Odyssey.
It's a good movie. He's done many. Just go.
I don't think anybody has the balls to watch that. Like a lot of the kids that we knew at least, who might listen to this, has the balls.
It's a Vegas thing. I go to LA. Everybody knows Stanley Kubrick. Of course, it's fucking movies.
It's so sheltered
the
here,
capital
man.
of the
I
world.
can't stand it. Like, they're very sheltered.
It's a Vegas thing.
Well, why don't you get out? Trust me, man. We're trying. You're already out, man. I've been out. I just had to come back for a little bit, but I will be out again. I appreciate the city, though. Don't get me wrong.
I have to be honest about Vegas. I actually do miss it. I actually am gonna say I love this city, but having said that, I do not want to live here. This city is boring.
It is boring.
This city is boring.
Boring. People can't have fun here. You're telling me going into a club like fucking sardines is so fun.
The only thing you can do with this city... Here. The only place that has life in this city outside of the home is the Las Vegas Strip. If you're not on the Strip, you're usually just sitting at home, and it's really funny because that's not what people want to be doing. So everybody's just kind of
waiting to die.
Yeah,
just waiting to die.
So I'm happy I moved. I'm happy in LA. I hope I don't have to move back anytime soon. But
dude, honestly, man, I think I might choose the Midwest.
I do love this city.
I might choose them because I don't know. I've heard a lot of beautiful things there.
Everybody that knows me knows I chose LA not because it's my home, not because I think it's the best place on earth. Because like I said before, I don't have an idea of a home yet. But I chose it because I do want a successful career, and my current path that I've chosen is filmmaking. So I want to continue that growth, and I can't do that. I can't do that in a city like this personally. I know kids who have done it in this city, and I commend them. But I personally do not want to have my career here. It's not where I want to build my life. I don't necessarily know if LA is either, but it's a better place to start. You can make a lot more connections over there. It's a lot more fun. And, the negatives are the traffic, the price.
There's more people, man. That's why. More people.
Yeah, I need the life. The life in this city is on one street. The life here, the life in LA is all over. And it's the same with Manhattan. When I go to New York, I wake the fuck up. When I go to New York, I step out the hotel and I see heads everywhere. Heads everywhere.
People. The funny thing is, dude, all those people might give you an opportunity to do something. Not maybe just your goal, but just to do something. Everybody in that population can give you the opportunity just to do something. Doesn't have to be a career, just do something.
That's my point. That's my point on why I love being in LA. That's all that opportunity really wakes you the fuck up. But it's refreshing. I've had a hard year, man. This move to LA with the surgery and the breakup, and having to live out of my home for the first time, live on my own for the first time. It was all very hard. It's been my hardest year, but I'm very proud. I'm very happy I moved, and I can't wait to see my growth. I hope I don't have to leave this city anytime soon. I hope LA becomes at least a short-term home for a few years. But I do want to travel a lot. We're young. I'm 21, by the way, for people who don't know.
21 as well. You're older than me. You turned 22 in February, right? February or January?
I'm gonna be turning 22 in February.
Feb 21st.
Yeah, February 21st.
221.
The 221 story.
Wow, man.
Yeah,
all my friends are older than me.
Really?
Kind of feel like a prophet.
I remember us having a conversation once. I don't know why I just thought of this. I remember us having a conversation once of me asking you if you think you've been on Earth before, or if you think you know Earth.
No, I don't think I've been on Earth before. I feel like maybe the matter from me has been on Earth before. That made me have been on Earth before, obviously.
I was speaking more in a when somebody comes up to you and they go, "You're an old soul."
Yeah,
do you believe that? Do you do you go, "Oh"?
No, honestly, I feel like the ideologies that you get from people who say, "Oh, you're an old soul," or from other people who are older, like your grandmother, who's a beautiful soul. I think you get some from her.
That's That makes sense.
Dude, your grandmother, there was something important about her when I went to meet her. There's something very
Gaga
because
is
the positivity,
the queen of my life.
the positivity, yeah.
My grandma, everybody who doesn't know,
It was a very refreshing experience.
Survived 3 different cancers. 3 different cancers. She beat one, survived it. She beat another one, survived it. And then she got another different cancer, beat it, survived it. I don't know anyone.
They need to go into your
don't know
body.
Anyone stronger than
Observe
my grandma on my mother's side. And on top of it all, she does it all alone, and she does it all alone by choice. I don't know how she does it. I had a surgery about 3 weeks ago on my stomach. I've had 5 in my life. I hope I don't need any more. It was very hard for me, but I had support of my family there with me, and I got through it. My grandma went through everything by herself, and she does it by choice. She had a surgery on her neck I didn't even know about. She didn't even tell me. I call her. I'm like, "How you doing?" "Oh, darling, I'm doing fine,
so
darling."
For those who don't know, his grandmother is actually from South Africa.
I'm doing fine.
So she has that beautiful.
I'm drinking my liquids, darling. How are you?
Oh my God, she's so beautiful, dude.
Are you doing alright? Is everything okay? Yeah, my neck kind of hurts because I just had surgery on my neck.
Kind of hurts.
I don't know what
how bad
I don't even know.
You know what? What if
she's the queen of my life, the angel to my life. Without her, I wouldn't be me.
God, dude,
this girl is my rock.
She is so beautiful.
And you know what?
Man.
I can say this with not to commend myself, not just because she's one of my favorite people, but I can feel it. I have a deeper connection to her than anybody else in my family. We are the most alike.
There's something with grandmas, dude.
Than anybody else in my family.
Grandmothers are so lovely.
Grandmothers are so
unless you get those like asshole old parents or old grandparents who
I don't know. I was
kids
blessed
at the golf
with
course.
great grandparents, and I'm sure you were too because you have an Italian.
Well, I have an odd situation. You know, my grandfather on my dad's side died before I got to meet him, and my grandmother on my dad's side, she died 7. I like this. No, not 7.
My grandfather on my mom's side died when she was 14.
I didn't get to know them. That much. But on the other side, on my mother's side, I have my grandmother and my grandfather, and I got to know them very well. However, they divorced 10 years ago, and my grandfather left my grandmother high and dry.
That's crazy.
And it's been a wild ride, man, because you know, it was a constant movement in the beginning of just like, you know, we're all together, a family life, and then all of a sudden a shift just happened, and then we all became kind of distant, and my grandmother became more close with my mother and my father because she didn't have anybody else. You know, it's so funny though seeing your grandparents get older as well. You know, they start to go back to the state where they need help like children. And it's kind of cute and it's kind of sad, you know. Mm-hmm. Like their mental state starts to deteriorate.
Yeah, that's true.
It's sad, but you know, it's like you love these people because they did everything for you. Like my grandma, she would do anything for me, and I love that about her.
Another thing about Gugget too, what's funny about her is you said your grandparents died. My grandfather on my mom's side, which was her husband and who she considers the love of her life to this day, died when my mother was 14 years old. So I never met him, and she lived alone since then. You got to think about that. She didn't want to marry anybody else. That was her love. My grandmother's so fucking good.
Oh, dude,
that
your grandmother's so
still
amazing.
Devoted to the love of her life to this day.
When your grandma eventually
which isn't
passes,
healthy
which
for
is
her.
not gonna happen.
Which isn't healthy for her, but this is the way she is. This is just she's
your
just
grandma
that
should
good.
be framed forever and be like, this is like in classes, like let's like in classes
I really
about
wish
how
everybody
evolution.
could have met her.
This is how you're supposed to be when you grow up. This is Gaga. She is the most beautiful
By
soul.
the way, her name is not Gaga. Let me tell you the Gaga
yeah.
story real quick. The Gaga story is kind of funny. Gaga is our nickname for my grandma, me and my older brother Yoni. He actually, I think, started it. He was a baby, and my grandma, was like, can you say grandma? Can you say granny? And he'd go, Gaga, Gaga, Gaga.
Shit.
And it's been Gaga ever since.
I thought it was related
name
to
is
Hebrew, to be honest.
No, it's
Safta
not.
and Saba, you
No,
Safta and Saba.
Gaga's not
Yeah.
Hebrew. Gaga is a nickname. And,
That's beautiful.
And yeah, we just stuck to it. She never complained about it. She never wanted it to be anything else. So, yeah, I did the same thing when I was a baby. I also called her Gaga. So, it just stuck. Her name is June.
June is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
She's like my favorite person. Because the day.
When did you meet her?
Remember we went to California. It was
that one day.
Yeah,
the one that we spent one day there.
The one day when we went to that one place to pick up you know who.
Yeah, and we went to UCLA. You're saying the has been.
Oh, stop! Let's not say that. Let's not. Let's not cause trouble. But like, all respect to her, but.
Okay. Anyway, so the day in LA, that day you met my grandma.
Like that day was so peaceful. Like we just went, and it was in Santa Monica, right? She was living in Santa Monica.
Yeah, she still lives in Santa Monica.
And it was kind of near the beach, right? We parked right near.
It's on 15th and Wilshire for anybody who knows. Don't hurt my grandma.
No, your grandma would punch them.
Yeah, it's on 15th and Wilshire. That's where my grandma lives.
No, I think your grandma would reason really well. Why, you don't need to hurt another individual.
Oh, darling,
Oh,
just sit down. I got you some. Have you had your liquids, darling?
She sounds like a character from A Clockwork Orange.
She's unbelievable.
So beautiful, man.
She's unbelievable. She really... my Gaga. My darling.
That's
my queen.
the apple.
She's my guardian angel.
She's beautiful. How is she doing now?
She's 80 now.
80?
And she looks like at least 15 years younger. At least. She wears her hair the same style. My whole life, she does this beautiful thing with her hair where it just stands straight up and it's in this ball and curls.
She had one of those cute grandma bathrooms, like, the pink toilet seats.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, wow, this is so grandma-like. It's so cool.
The grandma pad. It even smells like a grandma
It does. It smells like a grandma pad.
But it doesn't smell bad.
It smells like a grandma pad. Like, you'll...
There's always plants.
They should make a candle.
There's no one who can keep plants alive longer than my grandma. I remember getting her orchids for her birthday, and they're still alive.
Oh, darling, you brought me orchids.
They're like 6 months old, dude.
Really?
They're fucking still alive.
What does she do to them?
I don't know. She's like, I put ice cubes.
Oh
I don't even know what she does.
I shocked the nerve systems, darling.
I put ice cubes, and the ice cubes melt, and it lasts a week. And
they don't need photosynthesis in my
I'm
house.
sure she talks to her plants or something. I'm sure she's
man.
She's just the most loving plant nurturer in mankind history.
Dude, guess how much time we've been going at so far?
What are we?
We're at 1 hour and 11 minutes. That's a long time to think about that.
That's a decent episode 1 if we were to
Episode 1, usually, like, the majority of them go 3 hours, and that seems short when you're talking, to be honest.
It does, you know. We have...
But I mean, do you want to like end it at here? And
no, let's pick a topic. Let's pick a topic to end things on that isn't too deep. That's modern day.
Isn't so deep.
That's let's talk about Kanye West. Let's talk about
Kanye
West.
Let's
talk about
his bum clothing line.
No, I have something to say about Kanye West.
Oh my god,
we can change the topic if we want, but I have something to say about Kanye West. I saw a speech of Kanye West. You can look this up. It's on YouTube. I saw a speech of Kanye West accepting a doctorate from some university. I think it was university.
Doctorate?
A doctorate.
You received a doctorate?
In like art. In Chicago, of performance art or something like that. And he was talking about who he is as an artist, and he was actually very well spoken, and he didn't sound anything like he does in current pop culture.
Were you racist? You didn't think he was well spoken?
What do you mean?
I'm just kidding. I'm just totally kidding.
No,
Let's keep going.
I think he's not well spoken in modern day culture because he's not well spoken in modern day culture. but anyway, he was speaking about his art form. Long story short, he talks about how what he's an expert at, what makes him good at what he does, is he manipulates media. Yeah. That's his job. That's what he does. What he does for a living is get on the front page. That's his job.
Do you think he does that purposely?
Yes, and he's very talented at it. Yeah. Very. I'll tell you right now exactly how I know how talented he is at this. Soon to be President Trump. Running for president.
Trump.
Kanye West was not receiving much media attention when Trump decided to run for presidency. Trump became the headlines. Trump became the mass media manipulator, right? That obviously upset Kanye West. Yeah. So what does he do?
He runs for president.
He goes on VMAs and he announces publicly, that's right, 2020, Kanye for president, drops the mic. Genius, David. That is such a genius
This guy is
move.
So good at manipulating the media.
Next day, he was on the front page
on
of
the
everything.
Front page, Obama was talking about him. Trump
It was
talking
no
about
longer
him.
Trump for at least a week.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I had to say that about Kanye West.
I don't know why, but Donald Trump sounds like a good president name. It sounds like that big elephant behind the desk that like
didn't like the Simpsons predict it or something.
Oh yeah.
Was it the Simpsons?
Dude.
Yeah.
I guess you created the Simpsons. Trump.
Yeah, no.
I'm just kidding. Dude, Trump.
I really wish it was Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Dude,
in the Simpsons
Have
movie.
You seen that, like,
I was elected to lead.
Have you seen like that GIF on the internet that has Donald Trump saying, "I got a small loan from my parents."
Yeah, of course. So I saw the actual
interview.
I was like,
okay, well,
fuck the GIF. I saw the full interview.
Okay, yeah, okay, $1 million to he's like worth up to range $11 billion. Mm-hmm. $11 billion.
Yeah, but he said he gave it back with interest.
Dude.
No. Okay. It with all due respect.
That's a big difference. That's a big difference, dude. That's on average. That's a big difference.
With all due respect to Donald Trump,
for him.
With all due respect to Donald Trump, he did pay back the loan with interest. Okay, he did. Good for him. But he's the one in. I'm not even gonna say a number here, but the one in gargantuan amount of people that have the privilege of getting handed $1 million for doing nothing. Okay, if I was given $1 million for doing nothing, I am positive I would be trying my best to succeed with that money. Positive. Now, having said that, will I or wouldn't I? I don't know. Donald Trump did. Kudos to him. He paid back his father with interest, and now he's very successful. Kudos to him. But I don't really respect a man who was handed $1 million. $1 million is a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
He was handed $1 million.
But also, you could have $1 million and then you could fail right on your.
I know.
Yeah.
I know you can.
And
I'm just.
$1 million is $11 billion.
Listen to the quote he made. My life, he said, my life wasn't easy for me. That's how he started. Life was never easy for me.
I agree.
I was given a small loan of $1 million. Okay. Let's pick that apart word by word.
Yeah.
Given a small loan of $1 million.
Well,
you don't think he's a troll?
He's statistically correct, though. That's his problem. Like, he's too correct. Okay, $1 million to $11 billion is small to him.
Fuck him. A small loan.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck
I think he's trolling us.
Dude, he is trolling us. Listen, dude, this guy's not going to spend $2 billion.
He's not that stupid.
He's not going to spend $2 billion.
He's not that stupid to use that wording if he wasn't trying to troll America.
Yeah,
I don't think he's that
trolling,
stupid.
Dude. No, he's not going to win, and he's not gonna make it because one, he's not going to spend $2 billion of his own.
What would
money.
you do if he became president? Would you still live in America?
I would actually be more faithful towards him because one, that shows me that he's actually not fucking around and he actually has overcome a lot of adversity.
He won, so if he wins,
if he wins, dude, what the fuck? He beat the odds. Well, not really beat the odds to a lot of people, especially to minorities.
Let me tell people my political beliefs. By the way, first of all, I hate politics.
Me too. Let's clear that up.
I hardly pay attention.
We are not on any side. I think each of us do kind of lean towards, I guess, but we lean more to the right and more to the left, kind of. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense. Neither does politics. Politics doesn't make fucking sense. So we're not a part of politics. We have good reasoning and we have bad reasoning. That's how we distinguish what we are.
I'm gonna just go out and say this honestly. I don't vote. I vote when I actually believe there's a good candidate. I haven't believed there's a good candidate since I was born, hence I don't vote. Yeah. I haven't had... actually since I was 18, not since I was born, sorry, take it back. Since I've been able to vote, there hasn't been a candidate I want to vote for. And that's just the way I vote. I vote if I actually see a candidate I'd want to vote for. Speaking of candidates I'd want to vote for, Bernie Sanders would be that guy. If
I don't know, man. If you plan on making a lot of money, you better take that back.
Bernie Sanders would be my guy. He's a Jew, and we need a Jewish president. It's about time. And B,
I think we need a president who is okay with Israel.
He's got some balls. I think he has more balls than Trump, and I think he has more supporters.
I don't know, man. Trump has got some balls, and that's a problem.
I think he has.
That's a problem.
Trump has balls with his respect, with his disrespect. He doesn't have balls like Bernie Sanders, where Bernie will just say something that's so right wing that everybody will hate him, but he still says it and believes it.
Bernie Sanders is left wing.
Left wing. Sorry. So left wing that he. It's so left wing that anybody right wing wouldn't agree with it, but
that's the problem, dude. People have they're afraid to make up their own philosophy, or have their own philosophy. They'll go off everybody else's. Oh, I'm Republican because I agree with this and this. You're still allowed to agree with something that's Republican and not be Republican. I just don't think people should distinguish what kind of person they are, with parties. That's stupid. That's just stupid.
I've never been.
Hi, I'm David, Republican.
I've just never been.
Hi, I'm David, Republican.
I'm Mikey, Democrat.
Yeah, exactly. We shouldn't ever, introduce ourselves like that in this world. That way. Have your own thoughts.
I just don't know.
But otherwise, dude, I'm getting really thirsty, and I think we should end this, our first, because I know a lot of attention spans. A lot of attention spans are probably going out there, but, let's end this, man.
Okay, well,
this is actually pretty sick. We're gonna do a longer one next time. This is kind of spur of the moment, honestly.
I hope we edit out a little.
We do. Yeah, we should. Fuck it. We're gonna go raw. We're gonna go raw. But what was I gonna say? I have a lot more equipment at home right now. We're recording on one mic. I have 4 mics at home, so we're gonna have better quality next time. I assure you this. And thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.